Hey guys, Roberta here, and today I'm building in the 1010 Alto apartment. The size of this apartment is intimidating, so I typically tend to shy away from building here, but recently I was inspired to build two separate apartments in one and immediately thought of this space because the size is actually perfect for something like that, so here we are. I made two very different styles of apartments that I furnished specifically for two opposite sisters that I made in my game. One sister lives in a very neat and tidy, I'm going to call it a natural modern style apartment, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute. I think the term makes sense. And the other sister lives in a fun, family oriented, like super colorful apartment. I did separate these apartments with a thick platform wall here at the very beginning, and it really gives the illusion, especially during gameplay, that these are two really separate spaces. So I really like how that worked out. I think I'll use that again in the future if I decide to do the two apartments in one again. So yeah, the younger of the two sisters, who lives in the more modern side, is a perfectionist. She's ambitious. She's a bookworm who has the fabulously wealthy aspiration. So I imagine she likes things to be organized and tidy, and she is a workaholic. So at the end of the day, she just likes to sit down with a glass of wine and relax. And her older sister, who lives on the other side, has four kids and a smallish 3-bedroom apartment. So I imagine she loves everything about having a large family, and she loves all the color and chaos, and she's just over there sort of embracing the mess, which I think is so much fun to decorate. But we will focus on that in just a little bit, because first we're starting here in the entryway of the more modern style apartment. And when I started in here, I was trying to consciously make the effort to use softer wood tones. That's why I laid down this sort of like medium brown wood. Is anytime I tend to go modern, my go-to is always to go like black, whites, grays with like maybe little pops of color. So I went into this build wanting it to be, those softer tones. This office space was definitely built with more softer tones, but I think it ended up going a little more gray glam than like natural modern that I end up with. And I think this was before I realized that's the direction we were going to go. And it's not until I get to the kitchen area that I realize, like, okay, I've got this style down, like I know what we're doing. So then I end up coming back to this office space and totally changing up all the colors so that it blends more with the rest of the house, because right now I didn't feel like it did, but I wanted to sort of step away from it for a little bit. And then I suppose I could have edited the initial build out, but I just like to show you the authentic like progression of how my mind works as I build, because I think sometimes when you're watching a speed builder, it's easy to think that, oh look, like they just had it all together and they just sort of like knew exactly what they wanted and they just made it happen. And it really doesn't work that way. More often than not, we're trying 2, 3, 4 different looks before we even click that record button. Well, I'm not going to speak for everybody. I know that's what I do. I will move things around a little bit, and I'll sort of pause the video and work with a couple things. I mean, I don't show all of my thought processes, or I would have videos that were like 4 hours long, even if I had it like at max speed. But yeah, so anyway, this kitchen was really, really tricky. I kept playing with these different like shelves, trying to blend those ones we got with the Island Living Pack together. And initially I really wasn't happy with it. I had all intentions of probably ending up deleting it, but it went from being something that I was sort of just playing around with just to see, to this honestly ends up being one of my favorite kitchens I might have ever built. And I mean that like honestly. I know I have a lot of favorite builds that, I'll say, oh, this one's my favorite, and then this next one, it's my favorite too. But this one, truly, this kitchen, I just love the feel of it and the style of it. Like I would love a kitchen like this, like in real life. So I am just cluttering it up now just a little bit, but I definitely wanted to maintain a sort of minimalist style. This kitchen is where I decided that I was going to throw in like tons of plants. So the house does get really like overplanty, but I really like that look. Like when in doubt, just add more plants. That's my styling motto, even in real life. There are just plants everywhere. You know how, especially in The Sims, when you just have like an empty corner that you don't know what to put in it? Plants. An end table or a coffee table? Plants. A kitchen counter? Plants. A bathroom counter? Plants. A porch? Put some plants. Even a walk-in closet. I put plants in those too. I am just thankful that all the plants in the game don't need watered, or else all of my Sims would be in so much trouble. Like that's all they would end up doing, was just like walking around their house all day just watering all their plants, or all their plants would be dead. That's actually more like it. Oh my gosh, can't you just see it now? The 1,000 plants challenge. If that would go anything like the 100 baby challenge is going for me, that would just be terrible. I'm struggling with that, like for real. Like my Sim only has like 5 babies, and I can't even manage. Like I have to like play for 5 minutes and then close out and then go just sit outside and just stare into nature to like get it together. Anyway, now we are heading into the living area. I love how open this area is, and I feel like it would be a really great sim house to entertain in. Speaking of entertaining, I just realized I almost never put in bars in Sims houses. I always just have a hard time finding a place for them that doesn't look like kind of like bulbous and take up a whole bunch of space. I just wish we had smaller home bars, like a little bar that you could just stick, like it would fit up in the corner or something. Like then I would probably place them in every single dining room, every single office, every single bedroom. That's it. Corner bars could be the new plants. I would just appreciate any decor, really, that fits into corners. I just think it adds so much to spaces like dining rooms and hallways where you do struggle to find, something to put there. So yeah, that's what we need. More corner shelves, corner bars, things for corners. The corner kit. I can see it now. Anyways, we have moved on into the living room area where I made an IKEA-esque TV stand. This big empty wall here ended up being the perfect place for it. And I have to say, of all the spaces in this apartment, this came together the nicest. Once I started like getting the hang of things, I liked the touches of blue, and it tied into the rug under the dining room area. I just really like it. This whole apartment I think this would totally be my style. I love this so much. It is definitely my style of modern, I should say. It's like cozy modern. That's what we should call it, like natural, cozy modern. I don't know. This is probably a specific style and I'm just like missing it. So I placed these wooden like slats, and I placed them over in that little like secondary hallway area. And it wasn't until I was placing them by the fish tank that I placed in the living room that I realized they were taller than the ceiling. So I went back and changed those. I don't know if you caught that there. If you didn't, I just pointed it out so you know that I made that mistake. But yeah, so now we're starting in a guest room. I thought it would be nice to make a second bedroom in this house, just, in case the Sims that you wanted to move in here had a kiddo or, whatever. The options are endless. I just think it's nice that this side has 2 beds and 2 baths. And then the other apartment that I make is 3 bed, 2 bath. So it's a nice even balance. So you could have 2 families on either side. I think that would be cool too, to have like cousins, and then they could, like play together after school every day or something without having to like go through a loading screen. But yeah, this room is where I started to incorporate a little bit of color. I really, really like this. Like, I don't know what color green you would call this. It's definitely not quite olive green. It's like I'm just going to call it like a sagey green. But what I tend to do if I'm not sure which direction I want a room to go is I'll put a piece of furniture. And if it's a bedroom, I'll typically put a bed in. And then I'll start decorating the room based on the colors in that bed, because I think the bed is the focal point of a bedroom. So it just makes sense that way. And it always really works for me. So if you feel like you struggle to decorate, maybe just try one focal piece. I know sometimes area rugs in like a living room. I'll use those to decide the colors of that particular room, which can get the ball rolling from room to room. Like here in the guest bathroom, I brought in that same shade of green to keep this style cohesive in all of the guest spaces. But then my way of transitioning into a lighter and brighter area of the house as we move on is to incorporate this same style of brick into the nearby laundry room. I just changed it into a brighter shade, so I feel like that looked a little bit more realistic. I really love this Jack and Jill style laundry room. I think it is a really great idea, and it makes so much sense to me, especially in real life, like to have a laundry space right off the bedroom or bathroom area. The laundry in this build is the one thing that I think might get irritating. I mean, the game obviously isn't going to recognize these as two separate homes, so I worry that with all the kiddos on the other side, the laundry hampers on this side might fill up fast. Like, I don't know if you've noticed, but when your sim changes their clothes and there's a hamper nearby, the clothes will automatically drop into the hamper without your sims having to like pick them up and put the clothes in there. So my thought is that the sim I have living here is obviously going to change far less frequently than like the 6 people I have on the other side. I'm kind of anticipating when they're changing their clothes, it's also going to be filling up her hamper, so she's probably going to have to do laundry more frequently than she should have to. I didn't play test in here quite long enough to see if that is the case, but I think it's going to be the case. So here I am moving on to the bedroom area, and in this space I based the whole vibe of the room off this rug that we got with the Horse Ranch pack, and it paired perfectly with the wallpaper we got with the My Wedding Stories pack. And I think this space as a whole looks so pretty and so relaxing. I don't think I've ever done a bedroom in this particular style, but I really do love it. And I'm going to try to use that wallpaper in more builds in the future. I actually forget that we have it because you can't find it in with the other wallpapers. And I also don't think that you find it in like the painted walls section. I'm pretty sure I found this in with the stone walls, so I don't know if this texture might be like a stone texture, like a terracotta style texture. I don't know, but 99% sure that I found this in with the stone walls. So if you're looking for this, that is where you can find it. Here I am just placing some of those pictures that we got with the Dream Home Decorator pack. I think that pack is one that I use in almost every build. I love that pack so much. We got so many cute items with it, especially the items that you can use to build walk-in closets. Before we got these pieces, we all used to put those, like, I don't know what they were called. It had like the couple racks with like the shoes in them, and then it had the one with like the clothes hanging, which I love those pieces and I used to use them all the time, but they didn't come in natural wood tones. So in a build like this, it would have just felt really off. So I love having the option to like build and customize your own walk-in closets or TV stands like I did in this build as well. But yeah, this closet came together super easy. It's very like minimalist, and I think I end up editing out the rest of it, but I just throw in a little stool and it came together super easy and it's super cute. I think the bathroom in this build ends up being the same size as the closet, but it ends up feeling a lot more spacious than what it is. I was able to fit in a shower with 2 shower heads. We have a little toilet cubby. I kind of like when toilets are tucked away. I had enough space for a double vanity and 2 of the mirrors that came with the Growing Together pack. I love the texture on those mirrors. I end up using those a lot. I'm just cluttering up the counters now, and then I do a standalone tub, and then I just throw in some clutter. Obviously, we throw in a couple plants. I use that little like egg-shaped plant that looks like the yolk is like some moss or something coming out. It ended up fitting really perfect into that corner. I don't usually find a lot of places that I can make that work, but I feel like the modern aesthetic is probably one of the only places that it works for me, any sort of zen space. But yeah, I throw in a dishwasher here in the kitchen because I forgot one, and I feel like what is a luxury apartment without a dishwasher? Who wants to wash their dishes by hand? Not me, not you, not anybody. Get those dishwashers in there. That's one thing that I always forget, just like the garbage cans. My poor Sims never get dishwashers. So yeah, here we're moving into the family-oriented build. it ended up being really colorful, really fun. I knew I wanted it to be colorful, but I started also trying to incorporate a lot of items and wallpapers that I don't typically go for. So I was being a little experimental while also trying to be like extra colorful. And I really like how everything turned out, especially the living space in this room. I don't know if you play in this apartment very often, but the lighting that comes in on this side of this apartment is gorgeous. So I sort of will go through and mess with the lighting a little bit just to see where it's coming in at, especially here in San Myshuno, because it gets gorgeous morning and afternoon light. So when I discovered that this was the side that was getting the really pretty light, that's sort of what inspired me to make the family build on this side. I felt like it was only fair that if one sister got gorgeous modern aesthetics and she's got this calm like vibe over there, that the other sister at least get some good lighting for her apartment. So I felt like it was an even trade-off. But yeah, so here in the bedroom, I think of the entire apartment, this is the one room that gave me the most trouble. I really couldn't figure out how to utilize this space in a way that made sense. I don't know if it was because of the bed that I chose, but once I chose the bed and the color scheme of this room, I was determined to make it work. I don't like to go back and change it all up too quickly, because then I feel like I'm letting myself off the hook and then I don't challenge myself to try to make it work. And I'm glad I didn't give up, because I really love how it turned out in the end. I love this little, she gets a walk-in closet too, but it's a little less exciting than her sister's, but she does have a nice bathroom. It's small, but it's her own personal space. I feel like the kids' bathroom, I really like the kids' bathroom. I think the kids' bathroom might be my favorite bathroom in this entire video, and I think you'll see why here in a minute. It's just, I don't know, it feels really realistic and really fun. But yeah, so in here, this is her space. She doesn't have to share it with kids, and I feel like this is where she would come to like decompress from the chaos. And so I tried to make it, you know, a little bit luxurious for her, but also still total mom space. Here I am doing girls' room. There are 2 girls, 2 boys in this build. I have a child girl and then a toddler girl. And once I set my heart on this wallpaper, I went with a blue and purple theme, which I think turned out super cute. I'm glad I pushed through and made that work as well. And then I end up not putting in a dresser just because they did get a closet. So that's always nice. I feel like closets are so huge, but then I guess in the grand scheme of things, they're sort of out of the way. So it ends up almost being a space saver. I just think it depends on the space. Some builds, I'll put those closets in because it looks more realistic. And then other builds, I just don't have the space for it. But luckily, I had the space for it here, and I think it worked out in this room because I was able to get a little game table in here and some activities for the girls to do. Here is the girls' bathroom. They share it with their brothers. It is sort of a Jack and Jill bathroom. And then I also put a 3rd door in from the hallway so that if you have guests come over, this is also the bathroom that they would use. Sorry, guests. Everyone knows that you try to put the kids in the bathroom that the guests are not going to be in, because guests probably don't appreciate toothpaste all over the counters and the mirrors and the toilet. And I don't know what my kids do, but I swear when they brush their teeth, they're just like purposefully spreading toothpaste everywhere. If you have a kid, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, what even happened in here? It took you 13 seconds to brush your teeth, but there are fingerprints and handprints of toothpaste on the walls for days. Anyway, I'll let that go. Here, off camera, I do put in a little potty chair in that little nook right between the toilet and the bathtub area. It works fine. The kiddos can use it. Actually, no, I don't. I just fibbed. I move the door from the hallway over a little bit and I put it by the shower. That's what I do. I think I initially was going to put it over by the toilet, but I was afraid that if you were potty training a kiddo, then you wouldn't be able to sit on the toilet. So that's right. I did end up moving it, and I lied. But it ends up looking really cute over by the shower because I put a little toy penguin there, and it just adds a little extra kid clutter to that area, which I think ended up being really cute. You'll see that in the screenshots. Here in this kitchen, when I matched this tile, which you know is my favorite wall tile to use in bathrooms and in kitchens, with these countertops, I was immediately in love. I was like, if this isn't a very kid-oriented, like fun kitchen, I don't know what is. I loved it so much. It came together super easily, super quickly. I do change the tile though on the floor to the tile that I used in the bathroom because I had forgotten originally that it had this really, really pretty blue swatch to it. I love the extra pop of color that brought in as well. And here, this is, I think, might be my favorite spot in this entire apartment, is this little like corkboard area in the kitchen where the kids hang their school drawings or just little art projects they did. And I added a little desk here. I thought it could be like a little homework space, so I cluttered it up a little bit. I end up going back through and throwing in some backpacks and stuff. You'll see all the extra stuff I throw in during screenshots. I really try not to do that. I like you to see me do everything, but sometimes when I'm going through and I'm play testing, areas might not seem cluttered enough, or they might, you know, in some cases, very rare cases, would they ever seem too cluttered? You know, that probably happens far less frequently, but I end up throwing in an activity table in that little nook too. I was really trying as hard as I could to utilize every ounce of this living space in this house. I feel like this is where the family would spend most of their time. And the bedrooms were a little bit small, so I tried to squeeze in as much skill building stuff as I could out here and just activities for the kids. And yes, I almost forgot the kitchen sink until just a second ago. I don't know. I was more focused on trying to like kid the place up than I was apparently making sure that I had all of the like essential utilities in the kitchen area, but I remembered it. And your Sims will actually autonomously go to cook right next to the sink, which I like how they do that because then it's better for screenshots as opposed to if they go to a counter that's up against a wall. I don't know, it's the little tiny things that make me happy when it comes to The Sims 4. Here in the living room, I was using the couches from the, I think it was was this the paranormal pack? I want to say this is the paranormal pack. And I love this beautiful like turquoise swatch, but I tend to use it very frequently in my builds. Like I gravitate toward that color, or I'll use the white a lot. So after I placed this rug, I thought that I should go a little more bold with it. I switched some stuff up to yellow, and I'm really glad that I did. Over behind the couch and the little nook where there's some space between the dining table and the couch, I throw in a desk just because I wanted to make sure I had a computer desk back there. So I threw in the desk that would match the little craft table that I used for the TV stand. So everything tied together really nicely without it being too matchy-matchy. I can sometimes get a little overly matchy-matchy, but yeah, I like how it all tied in together in a nice way, but it didn't look like it was supposed to be overly designed, if that makes sense. So yes, this is where I'm going to leave you. I am so glad that you guys stopped by to check out this build. I really hope that you enjoy it and you find a reason to use it in your game. You will love the lighting in this space. Like, you would think that the more luxurious apartment is where you would choose to spend your time, but you won't. I guarantee it. You'll end up over here in the more family designated space, and you will love every second of it. I loved every second of making this video and spending this time with you. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you come back again so that we can hang out more. If you would like to see more videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel. I'll try to put new videos out at least once a week, if not, 2 videos a week if I can manage it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys again next time. Bye, everybody.